Hello everyone, this is Rob from Avalon Games, here with a preview of Arcanum, one of our best-selling and most popular games. Arcanum is a fantasy adventure board game for 1 to 8 or so players. You can have as many pretty much as you want to play in the game. It's open-ended, diceless. It uses chips instead of dice to determine outcomes of random events. And it's very popular. Although it's an older title, it's one of our best-selling games. Of course, you can find this at various sites, RPG Now, Drive-Thru, E23, Pazio, Studio 2 Publishing, and of course you can find links to all those on our website, and also information in our blog and on our newsletter. So go ahead and check those out. The core game of Arcanum lets you play one of 4 different kinds of mages, either an earth mage, a fire mage, a water mage, or an air mage. And each one has access to different kinds of spells and different kinds of special abilities. In later expansions, we expand on those different classes so that you get quite a few more, like warriors and rogues and priests and the like. But for the core game, you get those 4 basic types to choose from. And each one is a fun character to play, so take a look at them. Arcanum is a diceless system. It doesn't use dice at all to determine random events or outcomes, nor does it use cards. Instead, it uses an innovative system of chips. Now, these chips come in 7 different styles or levels, and one level will then trump the lower level of chip, so that if you play, say, a star chip, that trumps all the other chips in play. There also come in different flavors: earth, air, fire, water. And these, of course, correspond to the various types of magic that are used in the game. So that if you want to cast a spell, then you have to play a chip of the correct element and of the correct level. And of course, there are monsters to deal with. Everything from the lowly skeleton and orc all the way up to dragons and demons. The more powerful the monster, the more difficult it is to kill them. So be careful. The core set of Arcanum comes with round map tiles. Now, these are just laid out on the table any which way you want. And to move from one map tile to another, you have to do one of 2 things. Either A, use one of the magical gates that are depicted on the map, and some of those are easy to use and some of those are difficult to use based on the kind of magic that your character uses. Or you can go along the various trails and use one of the trail markers to move from one tile to the corresponding trail marker on another tile. Now, within the tiles, there's all kinds of things going on. There's various regions where you move from within the tile, and there's various encounters that can happen based on the date and the month and various things, as shown by the icon on those regions. Now, there are various map tiles in the game. The primary one is the tower, where everybody starts the game at. And then there is, of course, the inn, and town, the woods, and the swamp, and the bog, and various other places. Further out, away from the more civilized areas, you get more wilderness-type tiles and a lot more adventure opportunities. Of course, no adventure game would be complete without goodies, and Arcanum represents this by various cards. Treasure cards, encounter cards, equipment cards, spell cards. And as the player moves about the game world, they will collect more and more cards and become more powerful. The great thing about Arcanum is it has a bunch of expansions that really expand the game and the way the game is played. The first expansion, Myths, gives new tiles, map tiles, and a bunch of new cards to use in the game. The second expansion, Arcanum Legends, really expands the game with all kinds of new characters. The warrior mage, the warrior himself, priest, the rogue, the dwarf, and the elf. These use the same basic system that is used in the core game, but you get all kinds of new characters with it. The next expansion, Call to Adventures, gives us a whole new way to play Arcanum, and that's using hex tiles instead of the round tiles. Instead of moving from trail marker to trail marker, you actually butt the hex tiles up to form a giant map. And so it's a little bit easier to kind of navigate your way through the game. And then, of course, the last expansion, Heroes, gives a bunch of them new characters. The gnome, the fairy, the halfling, the seer, orcs, and dark mage. So all these expansions added together creates a really big experience for you. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this little look at Arcanum, and it's piqued your interest enough to go and check it out on our webpage at www.avalon-games.com. Of course, you can find us on all the various sites, like I mentioned before, RPG Now, DriveThru.com, E23, War Games Download, Pazio, Studio 2 Publishing, and go check it out. It's an excellent game. It's very fun, and as a print-to-play game, it's a lot of fun to put together. So have fun with it, and we'll check you out next time.